ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. So easy as do, re, mi. ABC, 1, 2, 3. Baby, you and me, yeah. That's all I could come up with off the top of my head. Here's a article from the Free Thought Project. I need to make this video because I have, again, a lot of work to do today. Rings to make, jerky. Lord, you people are keeping me busy, and I really appreciate it, and I can't thank you enough. I really can't, because I really need the money right now. So, CPS forces couple to have a C-section to kidnap baby after falsely accusing them of terrorism. When a mother went into the hospital complaining from pain, she claimed CPS drugged her, forced her to have a C-section, and then kidnapped her baby. Susie and Peter Syed are two loving parents of three who met in medical school and are both have master's degrees. Their happy lives would forever change last year, however, when they walked into a Connecticut hospital after Susie felt pains in her third pregnancy. According to the couple, Susie would be drugged, forcibly given a C-section, and her baby taken. Months later, after multiple reports of the suffering of their newborn daughter, Sophia, they're still fighting to get her back. The couple's nightmare started when they were traveling from Tennessee into New Jersey last year to attend a funeral for one of Peter's family members. After the stress of the funeral, Susie was feeling some anxiety, so their family suggested they take a couple's trip to the coast of Maine, 6 hours away. Susie and Peter then left their two older boys with family and drove to a place they have been wanting to visit. However, they would never make it. As the couple drove to Maine, Susie began to experience some pain, so they decided to stop at a hospital in Connecticut. That's when the couple started living a horror story. As medical kidnap reports, her husband's family is originally from Egypt. Although Peter grew up in the United States and has been a U.S. citizen since he was a child, his family in Egypt are Coptic Christians, a minority group in a country that is predominantly Muslim. Before they fully understood what was happening, Peter was allegedly being accused of being a Muslim terrorist and fleeing the law, and Susie was being accused of being a drug addict simply because she had some prescription medications with her to treat her high blood pressure and diabetes. She was allegedly drugged and forced to have a cesarean surgery, and hospital staff then allegedly worked together with social service workers to take custody of her baby. The couple filmed their interaction with the hospital and staff, and at no time did they appear to be on drugs, any threat whatsoever to their baby Sophia. According to the family, after Sophia was born, things got even worse. Oh wow, there's video here. In the video below, Susie asked the social worker what is they have done wrong and warrants this type of treatment, and the social worker couldn't answer her.
Involved with Department of Children and Families in Tennessee?
No, but I read it on the discussion forum.
Well, and I know that Laura had mentioned that you guys are medical students, and
I think students here, so we don't know.
But reading stuff online would be like me as a social worker going onto the MD website and diagnosing myself with bronchitis or the flu or something. I don't know what I'm reading. Like, that might not be an accurate description or an accurate treatment to treat me, but just because I'm reading it online makes it true?
I mean, it doesn't make it true, but there's an awful lot of people saying it, so...
Well, you have to look at the people that are reporting it as well. I mean, you have to look at the people who are affected by it, maybe lashing out. Maybe they're upset because they did have child protection involved in their lives for a very negative reason. I'm not saying there's all good people in the department. I'm not saying that at all.
So CPS or whatever, they don't get compensated for children that are taken from them?
Oh my God, no. Oh my God.
We don't have
That is like horrifying to think that even people think that.
That's a lie. Of course they make money taking kids. That's their product. Hello?
Do you think that I would get joy or...
Oh, just so you guys know, my parents got divorced when I was 15, and a judge didn't want me staying with my dad at his apartment, so he sent me to foster home. I didn't really realize what was going on. I did and I didn't. But the family I was put with was really, really cool. And it was only for a few months. And yes, they charge the parents and back pay and all that stuff. And yes, they profit from it. This act she's putting on, the oh God, no BS, get the hell out of here. CPS is disgusting. A disgusting, unconstitutional entity that exists in America.
Compensation out of
The state, something like the state funded, I don't know what it's.
no, that is so inaccurate that that's a disgusting statement. Talk about offensive. That the only thing that's funded are programs to help.
What's offensive is that you're sitting there lying. You're trying to say a rose isn't a rose. You guys make money and profit from having kids in custody. Don't even try to pretend.
Children stay with their families. The only things that are funded are foster homes who take in children who are not able to be with their families. The department and
who are not able to be with their families. Well, who gets to decide that, dummy? Hello? Who's being offensive now? Who's insulting our intelligence now?
agency employees are not funded
And if
for
you keep
taking
somebody's
children.
child for more than 22 months, then you can adopt them out. Is that true?
Well, but there's a, see, you're reading stuff and you're not understanding the concept of it. If a child comes into care, listen, if a child comes into care within 22 months, if that parent has not rehabilitated themselves in order to have their children return to their care, and that means court hearings, that means visitation, there's a whole lot that goes out in that 22 months, okay? If a parent has not been able to rehabilitate themselves in order to have their child come back into their home, then yes, children are available to be adopted if the parent's rights are terminated by a judge. That's not the department. If a judge...
Now we're talking about a family court judge. Family court judge. Where they don't really follow the Constitution. Just like a tax court doesn't follow the Constitution. Just like a traffic court doesn't follow the Constitution. This is all extracurricular Constitution activity.
terminates a parent's parental rights, the children are then legally available to be adopted. That is a very long process, and that is not something that anyone takes lightly.
Dude, I don't know what I would do here. Like, this mother just was forced to give the birth to this child, and she's holding her child that she just gave birth to, and she's sitting here having a conversation with some bureaucrat whether she's going to hand her child over to her. This is disgusting. And I'm sure if she doesn't do it, guys with guns will come and enforce unconstitutional bureaucracies. Police, if you use your discretion to do this to a family, you are not a human being, you're not an American, you're not a man, you're not a woman, you're not anything but a disgusting animal.
So, the things that you're reading online are giving you a lot of misinformation, and they're not accurate at all.
But it is accurate that if you keep somebody's child for 22 months, you can...
We don't keep them. If a child comes into care, we all go to court, and we stand in front of a judge, and the judge tells...
In family court, and judges are never corrupt, and they don't have an agenda, and they don't have any retirement packages, and they don't stand to gain, and no judges have ever been caught basically trafficking children to make money for jails or CPS. No, you're inaccurate, you imbecile.
For mom and dad. All right, mom and dad, these are the concerns that the department has come to us with. If it's substance abuse, then the judge says to the parents, you have to do X, Y, and Z successfully if you want your child to be returned to your care. If that parent doesn't do it...
What did we do? What was our offense? What did we do?
We haven't removed your daughter yet.
Well, you want to.
Okay, here's the question. What was our offense? And her answer is, we haven't removed the child yet. And the mother is saying, but you want to.
I don't want to. I'm
Oh, she don't want to? Can't wait to see the next one.
Set up.
That's not true. We never said we were not going to set up an appointment. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just told you that we would be even willing to pay out of pocket to have the child looked at a pediatrician.
Hold on. Starting that over.
Set up.
That's not true. We never said we were not going to set up an appointment. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just told you that we would be
Set up.
I'm trying to hear what she's saying. I can't hear it myself.
That's not true. We never said we were not going to set up an appointment. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just told you that we
Never said we were going to set up our home or send her home or... I don't know. Let's hear. Let's try to understand.
would be even willing to pay out of pocket to have the child looked at a pediatrician here in the state, even though it would be, like, you know, out of our way to do so. And yet you're telling me that I'm unwilling to do that, and that's probably what you wrote in your report, and yet it's
I didn't even write my report yet.
It's not true.
So if you're willing
I'm
to
afraid.
have the hospital set up an appointment, then they could probably do that locally if you have the funds to be able to stay in a hotel nearby so that you can go to that medical appointment.
So because of our unconstitutional demands, we're going to force you to stay somewhere, which a hotel, and if you have the money to do all these things, then we'll let you possibly stay. Are you kidding me?
And then talk to the doctor about how you and the baby could safely travel back to Tennessee. But until...
Talk to the doctor about how you and the baby can safely travel back to Tennessee. Whose child is this? If I'm understanding this correctly, at any time the government can step in because of some arbitrary crap they wrote and take your child from you under threat and duress.
Some of that gets situated, and until we get clarification on your other two kids, I don't even have, like, your date of birth.
Clarification on her other two kids? What is she talking about?
Husband's date of birth. Your children are, I don't have their names, I have their dates of birth of 1/5/15 and 6/26/17. Is that correct? But
Why would I give you anything? I don't agree to talk to you unless I have a lawyer present, standing right here next to me. Up until then, you're violating my constitutional rights. Period. Point blank.
I don't know if this is your accurate address in Tennessee that you would be returning. Is that where
Why would I give you an accurate address?
I don't know. I'm just asking if that's your address.
Come on. Dude, this is disgusting. This is so disgusting. This thing's buffering. I'm going to read this while it's buffering. I was crying about how we had been treated and that my heart rate by then was nearly 200 and my blood pressure was 180/120. After I continued to complain about it and it was continued to climb, they finally gave me beta blocker, but still refused to give me my diabetes medicine. After that, Peter and I were exhausted and both slept for around 8 hours straight. The next morning when we awoke, my blood sugar was also very high, and they finally gave me the metformin I was prescribed by my general practitioner. Then a neonatologist came in our room and started telling us that he knew we did not care about our baby because if we did, we would have been in the nursery for every feeding, and that if he wanted to, he could have us prosecuted for neglecting her just because we didn't show up for 2 of her feedings. After they've been harassed by the government and just came from a funeral and have been traveling and was forced to give a C-section. Oh my goodness. Dude, this scares me so much. We explained to him everything that had happened and that I was made to go to the entire previous day without any of my medications, that I had been excruciating pain, and that we were both exhausted and just needed some sleep. He said he didn't care and that we should have been there. We asked him, isn't the nursery there to give the parents some rest? He said no, that this was a baby-friendly hospital and that we, as the parents, were supposed to do all the feedings. We told him we didn't send our daughter there willingly. He changed the subject and started saying that he knew we did not even have custody of our other children and that he would not be allowed to keep Sophia anyway, so there was no need for us to see her anymore. I started crying as Peter was telling him it wasn't true that we do have custody of our other children. He accused us of kidnapping our other 2 children that he said he knew we did not actually have custody of. And trying to make a break for the Canadian border and refused to tell us who told him we didn't actually have custody of our other children. Not true in any way. We asked him, how could we be trying to run for the border if we don't even have our children with us at the time? He didn't have an answer. We begged and pleaded with him to please let us see our baby. He told us that we would be allowed to see her only for feedings, and that if we missed even one more single feeding, that we would not be allowed to see her anymore. So they've kidnapped these people's child. He told us that the DCF would be there to take custody of her on Tuesday, and that he was going to testify against us about how we neglected her. Dude, this is kidnapping. Why would this guy have such a bias like that, and anger, and be so negative and mean? Neglected her by sleeping during her scheduled feeding times, and about how I refused to sign a medical release for my parental records. Why would you have to sign something? What? Dude, your signature is very important, people. Don't just sign anything. Read it, or find someone that knows how to read and have them read it. I told him that wasn't true and that I never refused to sign anything. I asked him if I sign the medical releases and we make her an appointment with the pediatrician in Connecticut, will we be allowed to keep our daughter and take her home? He laughed and said no, that if we thought we would be going home with our daughter, we were dead wrong, and that we would not be going home with her for a very long time, if ever. It has now been nearly 7 months since the state of Connecticut kidnapped the couple's baby. That's exactly what they did. And they are fighting every day to get her back. Why would they have to fight so hard to get their kid back if they have master's degrees or are medical students? Even they don't get credit anymore? What's more, the fact that the couple alleges Sophia is being mistreated in state care and nearly died. I could believe that. A lot of bad things happen to kids. Our daughter nearly died in their care after we begged them not to let the foster family send her to daycare at only 8 weeks old. Oh my God. And she caught RSV and ended up fighting for her life in the hospital. But they did it anyway because they said that's what was most convenient for the foster family. The couple has since started an online petition and a GoFundMe page to help with bills related to getting their daughter back. They say they have been falsely charged with bogus accusations and have never been arrested. They also note that they have video evidence to back up all their claims. Some of that video is above. Below is a heartbreaking video of little Sophia left in a dark room screaming frantically. Notice how she stops crying immediately when Susie picks her up. Please share the story and help his family get back their daughter before she becomes a statistic like so many other children ripped from the caring arms of parents by the state. That's a link, by the way. There you go, guys. There's your another unconstitutional bureaucracy. The Child Protective Services. They always have names that are exactly the opposite of what they actually do. 100% YouTube will not let me monetize this video, so please, if you'd like to support me, hit up my Etsy store. If you see something you like, pick it up. If you don't, I understand. At least take a look. That's it, man. This is another issue with the CPS. The CPS needs to be abolished. I mean, bureaucracies always become corrupt because they're unelected. First of all, like, we can't fire anybody in the FBI. You know what I mean? Or the CIA or the CPS. They're unelected bureaucrats. They're not following any type of constitutional law. They're acting under, ordinances, statutes, and codes and stuff that is not congruent with the Constitution and the ideas of freedom in this country. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. No victim, no crime. Blibbity, blobbity, bloobity, blue.